Hello, welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. This is the match preview. It's the Republic of Ireland taking on Armenia in Yerevan tomorrow evening, and we are here to dissect it from an Irish point of view. I did do an opposition preview with Charence from Hayastan Footy. Make sure to check that as well. But I'm joined here today by Peter Manning from at Everything LOI and Rossa Finden from the Insider Provider. But yeah, lads, we've just done the final word. That was a bit miserable. We need to be a bit more optimistic for this one. I think this game, I mean, not in terms of this room, but when we're looking at this is a game that's must win. I suppose from our point of view, how do we build on the momentum of finishing the game against Hungary the other night? Rossa.
Don't start how we started the last one, pretty much. I think we need to be on the front foot. You know, Manning starting left mid, naturally a defender, but I think him coming late into spaces, putting those final crosses in would be much better. Stick him in left back, to be honest. I think we need to really give it to them. And if we have a centre back out and right back, or a left back and left mid, that is just setting up for defence. And this is a game where Armenia are going to sit back and let us create. And it's up to us to create. And do we have people to do that? Yes, in the certain spaces that we have, likes of Finn Azaz, Ryan Manning, but we just can't afford to let them into this game at all. Don't give them any hope at all.
Yeah, exactly. Just go from minute one. Realistically, hopefully you get an early goal. Because to be honest, teams like Armenia I've found anywhere the teams we always seem to struggle the most against somehow. Like you've seen in previous years, like playing against Luxembourg. I don't know if it's just we can't break down the defence or what it is, but as you said, just attack, basically early on.
Yeah, well, like from my point of view, I see it as this psychologically. Our tails are up. They've lost 5-0 to Portugal, so we should be trying to target an early goal. We get an early goal against them, and they're completely deflated. Then I think we could really get them at 2-3. They have to come out and we can absorb it. But I think we need to be a lot tighter at the back. We need to be a lot more switched on, which I believe we will be. And then I think from an attacking point of view, I mean, I think he's crazy if he doesn't go with Johnston ahead of Manning on that left-hand side.
Absolutely,
I think you spoke in the final word, or it might have been you, Rossa, about a player that can open a team up. I've seen Mikey Johnson might not set the world alight for a lot of people, but what he can do is open up in defence. He is very good at that. He's direct, but also the fact that he could go either side. If he's doing that down the left-hand side, and we even if he does go with Jake O'Brien at right back, allow Manning to be the one that gets forward then, like he did the other night. Yeah. More freedom to get forward. There's not as much expectation on him. Because that's basically what Jake had done for Everton last season. It was to allow Mikalenko to go forward. Jake would set in on the three. Now this season Everton tried to be a little bit more attacking, so he's been the more forward-thinking player. But I think if that is the case, if he does go with the three, then they sit into a back three. On the left-hand side, you progress with Johnston and Manning, and I think they're the ones that are going to open up opportunities. And then you have your players like Ferguson and Finn Azaz. Obviously, we know Sammy Smolix is out of this game now, which is a loss, I think, because I think he is one of our best attacking players. You can see obviously his versatility is very good as well, but I would like to see him probably play that centre forward position alongside maybe Evan Ferguson. I don't know if he'll bring in Sam-Edo, but I don't think that 4-4-2 system is going to work in this game. I think a 4-3-3, a 4-5-1 out of possession is our best way forward, I think, because it allows Finn Azaz to link in with the forward, which is his best position. I think we saw the best of Finn Azaz against Bulgaria when he linked in with Troy Parrott, as that, he obviously got a goal and an assist as well, and obviously for Ferguson. And I think that's where he's best. But I thought at times he was on the left, he's on the right. I think he needs to be in that kind of position, but in between the lines.
Yeah, I think the 4-4-2 could theoretically work if Finn Azaz was in the two centre midfield, him and Cullen, because I like the way he drops deep. Again, we saw him almost play as a second striker. So him dropping deep is where he's getting most of his action. But I think at club level at Borough, he was also in a two-man midfield, I think in a back three as well. So he is naturally gifted at dropping deep on the half turn and looking up and see who's there. Mikey Johnston, as you were saying, he creates so much space for others. And if he has Ryan Manning on the overlap, as we've seen, that can be extremely dangerous. So I think that's the way to go.
And you potentially bring Chidozie Ogbene in from the start, or Casey McAteer on the right hand side in this one instead of Sammy Smolix. And then you've got a natural wide player
Yeah, I'd like to see Casey McAteer get a chance. Like, he's talent that we kind of snatched from England in a way, but has a lot of talk about him being the next big thing. Plenty of talent you can see. I think why not give him a chance against a team like Armenia that we need to break people down, and that's kind of what he's known for at the moment.
Yeah, Peter.
Yeah, I think like you need to play out Benny, you need to play Johnson, because as I mentioned in the game against Hungary, I thought we were a bit one-dimensional. And look, realistically, you're probably going to expect Armenia to be sitting back. So are them balls into the box going to work necessarily? I'm not 100% convinced. So you probably do need a few lads who are just going to cause their defence trouble, go a bit more direct, and yeah, just hopefully go goal up early.
Yeah, well, I spoke, as I said, to Charles from Hyesta and Footy, and like he basically said that if you're looking at a weakness from the Armenian point of view, or what are they fearful of? They're fearful of our set pieces. So I think our set pieces need to be on point there, whether it's Manning or Josh Cullen. I imagine it'd be one of them two who takes our free kicks. But then if you actually break it down and you're playing the players in their natural position, like the thing about McAteer is, right, if you play him from the start, take him off after 60 minutes and you've got Ogbene going in there, you've got a like for like, and well, probably a bit more pace than Ogbene. But either or, I wouldn't be up in arms about if they started. I wouldn't care which one of them started, but I think one of them has to start on that right-hand side, you know. And then I think it's a no-brainer having Johnson and Manning linking in there as well. As I said, I thought they linked in well. But then it's like, does Ida come back in, or is he better off as a super sub? Because he's obviously scored a few goals off the bench. I think he's hungrier when he's coming off the bench. But I thought in recent times he stepped up for it. I remember he scored a penalty against the Netherlands. He scored against Bulgaria. Then he scored against Hungary when we beat them as well. Troy Parrott scored a late goal there. He scored the first one with Will Smallbone cross, if I'm not mistaken. So he's stepped up recently for Ireland, despite what people want to say about Celtic.
Yeah, I really wouldn't be against playing a 4-4-2 with Evan Ferguson and Ida up there. Like, again, our strong point is getting the ball in the box, finishing it off.
And that's their weak point.
Exactly, yeah. So if we can do that on set pieces, even open play, if we're going to do that, I'd like to see Chidozie Ogbene running down that wing and getting across. And like, he can't offer much else, but what he can offer is that, and he can do that very well. Johnson on the other side can add a bit more to his game, but if you have Ogbene on the right-hand side terrorising their left back and just putting the ball into the two big men, it might be all we have, but we can do that very well.
Yeah. Have you anything to add on it?
I don't know. I'd almost rather see Ida as a sub, in all honesty.
Why?
I as you said, I think he just works a lot better coming off the bench. In all honesty, I don't
like with a point to prove almost.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he has proved his point against Hungary though. But then again, at the same time, so
he does seem to
put off the bench.
Yeah,
but there is like something there. Like he does seem to be the one who comes on angry, like the fact that he's not starting. He does seem to be annoyed that he's probably third place in the pecking order if Troy Parrott's fit. So he does seem to be a bit annoyed by that. And Sammy Smodics was ahead of him as well in the pecking order. Although he was on the right hand side of him, but he was still in there with him. So maybe there's an element of like he feels like he has to keep proving himself, which is not a bad thing. Like it keeps the hunger going. You know,
do have to reward that eventually. And now that Smodics has been injured, I think now is the perfect time, especially against a team like Armenia, where maybe if we're not 100%, if we're at 90-95%, we can probably still get a result against them, get the two of their confidence going up. Even if he does go back on the bench for Portugal, he's a guy with a lot more confidence coming off the bench instead of just a chip on a shoulder.
Yeah, I think so. You're saying take out Jason Knight and Smodics. Obviously, Smodics is injured.
Yeah,
and replace it with Ida and Ogbene.
Ogbene or McAteer, I'd be happy with either two.
Okay, and you'd be happy enough with that.
Yeah, none of that really.
Changes to the back four.
Yeah, Doherty out. Doherty.
But what about, so you're saying that Jake has to play centre back? So how does that work out? Jimmy Dunn?
I mean, I would like to see O'Shea out and right back, because once again that adds kind of three defenders naturally in the back line, allow Ryan Manning up. But the chemistry that O'Shea does have with Collins is pretty good. But at the same time, you just can't afford to have, as I said, a man behemoth in right back. I think Jake O'Brien has to play centre back, cutting out crosses. Armenia, that's probably their game plan too, in all honesty, where they can just try to get it in the box. If you have Collins and O'Brien in the box, it's going to be a lot more difficult for that.
Yeah, I think did Jake play the second game against Bulgaria as a left centre back, and I thought he done quite well in that game. So I think he could he could slot in alongside Collins, and then
flawlessly. Yeah.
But if that was to be the case, and you were to bring in Jake instead of Dara O'Shea, I'd be going Doherty right back just for the balance of play there to give us width. If it was Portugal, I'd be way more Jake's right back, and then Collins and O'Shea in there for me, and probably even Scales at that, because we need to be defensive against Portugal, but that's a story for a different day.
Maybe for the likes of Armenia, yes, get Matt Doherty in right back, can pose a threat going forward. Hopefully won't need to worry too much about the counterattacks that Armenia pose at us. But yeah, against the likes of Portugal, I would like to see O'Brien in the centre and O'Shea out and right back, just purely height difference.
I don't think he's going to do that though, because
I don't think he will.
Changing that around, the dynamic.
Yeah,
I'd just stick with it. I know, obviously, you have been critical of Doherty. I've been critical of Doherty over the years as well. He tends to have a mistake in him, but I think for solidity, for the seniority as well he brings to the team, I'd honestly just keep... Yeah, exactly, 100%. As I said, Portugal game, when you come to that, you can address that, but I think for now, just stick with the back line we have.
Yeah. I mean...
Doherty in left back?
No, he means Doherty right back,
okay.
Manning left back, I think. That's what I gathered anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like, Spurzian is their main man to watch out for. He's caused us trouble in the past. He's playing for Krasnodar. Didn't really do much the other night. He nearly scored a free kick, but that's about the height of it. But he will be their danger man, and from set pieces, he is quite good. So we need to make sure that we're not fouling players stupidly in good areas. Now, we didn't do that against Hungary. In fairness, I have to say we were clever in that aspect. We didn't allow them to have like a free kick on goal, especially Szoboszlai with the form he's in with Liverpool. So I'm hoping that we can do the same here. But we need the players to start coming of age here, I think, as well, though, because we've been patient for the last, I'd say, 5 years or more, where we're saying, all right, we're in transition. But the World Cup qualifiers, like, I think some of them need to grasp that they may never play in a World Cup, and they need to really like concentrate and say, right, we need to get a win. I'm not saying that they're sitting there going, oh, we don't want to win or anything like that, or, you know, obviously they're doing what they can, but I think they really need to step up their levels. I mean, we're hearing about all them being leaders at their clubs and stuff like that. A lot of them are captains at their clubs. So we need to see them start showing that now with Ireland. And I know they don't play together week in, week out, and they don't train together for that long, but there has to be an element of, you know, let's dig in and get a win here. And we've got goals in us. We've got good defenders. We probably don't have the best midfield that we would want. It's probably our weak point. But other than that, our wide players are decent. They can cause problems. I believe that we should be going out here and getting a win. And that's not in an arrogant sense or anything to do. I just think we're a better footballing side than Armenia in every way possible. And I think we should be getting a win against them.
Yeah, I think what you were saying, the kind of now or never aspect about a World Cup, that's something Hallgrimsson really needs to dig into them. Like, they might be saying, oh, sure, we can go at it again. Who's to say they're good enough for Ireland the next 4 years? Like, these players need to understand you have to prove your worth in an Irish shirt. And I think a lot of them sometimes forget about that at times. Like, yes, as I was saying before, heroic losers, they really put up a fight once things aren't going our way, like the heroic underdogs. But against teams like Armenia, we just show the might of the Irish nation in a way and put it to them, like, relentlessly.
Yeah, I think we've got good players. We need to start showing.
Yeah, like, look, as I said, obviously they showed a lot of fight in the second half against Hungary, but you need to be doing that for the full 90. I think there's a few, they do need to start raising the occasion, realising, like, at the end of the day, it's been, if we don't qualify for this World Cup, it's been 24 years since we qualified for a World Cup. I've never seen a World Cup. I've seen Ireland playing a World Cup, sorry. Yeah, but yeah, I think it definitely is time for them to kind of rise to the occasion, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. We want an Ireland team to be proud of. And I think when they do what they did against Hungary, where they come back and get the draw, but we don't want to see us going 2-0 down to have to come back and get a draw. We want to see us being competitive in the game and maybe getting a late winner. And then it makes it... I mean, I was watching the Northern Ireland-Germany game last night, and I was so impressed by how they put it up to Germany for so long. Ultimately, they tired out and they like fell away, but they were going very strong. Like, I've never seen Antonio Rudiger on strings before, and he was absolutely on strings. And Northern Ireland aren't a great team, let's be honest.
They've quite a young team as well, to be honest. Like, could say the same about us, but like they're putting up against Germany for the best part of 60, 70 minutes.
Yeah.
Can we do the same? We'll see against Portugal.
Well, we've done it against Portugal in the past, but then folded in the last couple of minutes. It was a similar sort of performance, actually, to what the Germany one was last night. But I just think, from our point of view, why can't we raise our game against some of these nations? And I'd like to see us do. We're not going to raise our game against Armenia, but we should be better than them.
Yeah.
But then
I think you still kind of need it. That's kind of been our, as I said, our kryptonite in recent years. It's just like we go to these countries and almost think we're just naturally better than them just because on paper we're better than them, and then ended up with egg on our face. Like, you need to go out to Armenia, and you still need to view this as a world. It's not you're playing Armenia, okay? It's not Portugal, fair enough, but you still need to look at it as this is a World Cup qualifier. Every single game's gonna matter here. Like, you have to almost treat every single game equally, in my opinion.
Put your foot down. Like.
Yeah.
I think that all of these games you have to treat almost like a cup final. Every single
exactly.
one of them. You can't lose any of them.
No.
You literally can't lose any of these games, or that's it. You know what I mean? That's where we were so lucky against Hungary, but the fact of the matter is we clawed it back and we got the draw, but we cannot drop points against Armenia, and I can't, I think someone will drop points against Armenia, whether it's Portugal, whether it's Hungary, or whether it's us. I do believe someone will.
Yeah.
I
They're
just
gonna
hope
get a
it's not
point
us.
somewhere,
I just hope it's not us.
The thing is, like 16 minutes into that first game, everyone's collectively thinking that's our World Cup over, because you have to win both games against Armenia, maybe snatch a result against Portugal, and also get at least a draw now that we've gotten the draw against Hungary. So those two Armenia games, they're landmines. If you do not cross both of them with 6 points, you might as well kiss the World Cup goodbye.
Yeah.
Because you're banking on probably a win against Portugal. How likely is that over the past couple of years at Ireland? It's not 10, 15 years ago where we beat Germany on our way to the Euros to have a heroic send-off there. But like, we really need to win these games.
I think the difference with that game is we had big leaders in the squad who were doing it consistently at their clubs.
Theoretically, we do now too. But we're just not seeing it.
Yeah, we need them to step up, and hopefully now that they will. But Peter, have you anything to add on what Russell was saying there?
No, not particularly. I'm just sick of World Cup rolling around, and all I'm thinking of is who am I putting in my acca?
Well, from this point of view, then, just lastly to finish off, then our prediction of how this game will go. I'm going to say 2-0 Ireland.
I'm going to say 3-1. I reckon we do put a stamp down, but I'd say we slip up inevitably again at one stage.
I was nearly about to say 3-1 as well. Yeah, I do.
Can.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say 3-1, because I do think there will be a moment we'll turn on. I could see it going 1-1 at a certain point, to be honest. I could see it being a goal up early. Just before the second half, we end up conceding, but do end up going on and winning it. I still think we have mistakes at the back there that we are going to concede something stupid. It could be a corner or something like that. But I do hope we are going to come out with a win in the end of it.
Yeah, well, you'd like to see, just a performance put in and a stamp. Like, I don't care if it's 4-2 or whatever, as long as we win the game.
3 points, like, yeah.
We just need a win here more than ever. And we need to be careful as well that Hungary don't turn over Portugal, because they do have good players.
Yeah. Portugal can drop their heads a bit, like just a bit cocky, going into a group with the likes of us.
Yeah, but they could frustrate them too.
Yeah.
And I think then, if Hungary beat Portugal, that's a disaster from our point of view. So anyway, I think the manager needs to pipe down with the whole we're definitely going to qualify stuff and start getting the players to back it up on the pitch. Although it's not them saying it, it's him saying it on behalf of them. So he just needs to be careful. But I do like his overall kind of positivity, and also the fact that he's honest. His post-match press conference against Hungary, like, he was basically saying it wasn't good enough.
He's a personality. I actually do like him as just as a personality as well. Obviously, as an Ireland manager, like the attitude he does bring, and he has a bit of humour about him as well. Like, that's what you want as an Ireland manager, a bit of a laugh to get out of them. But I
also think, to add to that, is that, like, I've seen him with the media. Like, he'll come over and actually talk to people, in the journalists and stuff like that. He doesn't see them as like the enemy, and avoid them at all costs. Because, like, I've seen him at the trainings, and he comes over and he has a coffee and he's standing there talking to you. He's never spoken to me personally, but I've seen him doing it with some of the others. Don't think he knows who I am, but I'm not important to him anyway. But
it might be something to do with the fact that he's actually not from Ireland and trying to win over the Irish media and trying to get on their side in a way.
Yeah, well,
the Irish manager might not see that.
Well, I saw him. He was at the Linfield Shells game, and he was up talking to Tony O'Donoghue in the press box.
Yeah, I've seen him in a few past games as well.
Like,
and he's not there for scouting.
Yeah, it might have been because Shell's in the Europa Conference League.
Yeah, true.
So you never know. Meepo or someone like that, he could have been looking
Meepo,
at. I can't think of too many others he would have been, but there is that as well. What were we gonna say?
Oh, I was just saying I've seen him at a few Pats matches as well. Unless he's planning on bringing Chris Forrest into the team, I don't know.
Yeah, he's back on form now. But yeah, look. All right, that's been the preview then. Look, come on, you boys in green. I know it's been a bit gloomy since Saturday because of how the start was, but I think we need to get back on a more positive.
We got a point.
Positive outlook on the game. But huge thanks to the lads for coming in. Make sure you go and follow them. Peter's at everything LOI on all the socials, I believe.
Yep.
And Rossa is on all the socials as well at the Insider Provider. So make sure to check them out. I think they're quite big on the TikTok audience. Yeah, if you're into that sort of stuff. But we'll speak to you all later. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments as well. We'll speak to you soon. Take care.